All right, so in today's video, we're gonna go over this brand new 4-gallon backpack sprayer from Ego. This is a tool-only option. So if you have your Ego platform, you can use any of their 56-volt batteries, and you are gonna need a charger. This is the BSP 3500. You can pick them up online or some of your local stores. Normally what I do, I order online, use my Lowe's credit card, get 5% discount. Once ready, I pick up headache-free. This is a Lowe's sponsored product, and if you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. Now, it does come with a brushless motor with up to 350 psi of pressure. You have an adjustable knob, so you can have flow control, stainless steel wand. You do have a 5-year warranty on the product. You have IPX4 construction, translucent tank with 4 different levels between 1, 2, 3, and 4 gallon, and you have the liters on the opposite side. So we're gonna go over all the details, pros and cons, take it out for a little test run, see how it performs. And if you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. Don't forget to like and follow. Do check out some of our links that do help out the channel, and we're trying to grow, can't do it without your support. All right, so let's see what comes in this beautiful box. All right, here we go. Oh, look at this beautiful backpack. Absolutely gorgeous. Also comes with a little manual. Okay, and you have your stainless steel wand. Excellent quality, you can see right there. Absolutely beautiful. It's actually pretty heavy, so you could tell it's kind of solid. And you know, got a little magnet here. It's all stainless steel. There's no metal in it. Very, very nice. Okay. This is one of the adjustable fan nozzles. Got a little O-ring right there. Okay. Beautiful. All right, let's see what else comes with it. You have your cap. Good quality O-ring for your seal, and you have a nice handle, you know, for leverage. All right. Here are the rest of the nozzles. So let's see which one is which. This looks like your garden nozzle here. Water the plants. And wonder if you could take it apart. Oh, yes, you can. Just in case if it gets clogged. Pretty sure you could take this little thing off. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. All right, that's one of them. This is another one. This is a flat nozzle. And you got another nozzle right here with a little brass tip. Very, very good quality. All right, this is your battery compartment. You do have the quick release. Okay. This is your filter cage. So you can see there it has a fine filter mesh all the way around. Pretty sweet. I got a little handle here to pull it out. Okay. Very nice. All right, so here are some of the specs of the unit. 56 volts, 4 gallons, 350 psi, 0.6 gallons per minute with the adjustable nozzle and spray mode. We got the operating temperatures, charging and storage, 16.8 pounds. We'll double check that along with the battery and when it's full of, of liquid, and IPX4 construction. All right, let's see what the tank looks like inside. All right, and there you go. All right, since the tank is translucent, you have your 4-gallon mark, 3, 2, and then 1. I wish they would actually make these, black. Normally what I do, I get a marker or paint and I, paint it in black so I could know pretty much where it is, even though, as you can see here, the tank is translucent. translucent, but you still can't see, you know where they are. So we'll see once we're outside in the sun if it's easier to see the numbers, but definitely would like to see in the future the markings in, you know, maybe green or black, whichever one, you know, is easier. So here you get the gallons, and then the opposite side you get the liters. So, all right, here we go with the markings: 4 liters, 8 liters, 12 liters, and 15 liters. All right, so on to the actual padding. Absolutely beautiful, well padded, nice and thick on, you know, the shoulder parts, easy to see clips. Okay, same thing as the bottom one, nice and large, easy to unclip. Very well padded all the way in the back, all the way to the bottom, fully adjustable, the height, and then your size here. You could also go up and down here. This thing is just super comfortable. Okay, so once you put your battery on, I would suggest adjust it before you put the water in, and then it's easier to do it when it's on top of a table or your workbench to put it on your back than grabbing it from the floor. Even though you have your top handle, okay, you don't carry it around, and you could put also your wand up here. Okay, so multiple areas of putting your wand. You also have it right here. So you have, your tip, you have a little drip at the bottom. I'll show you now. And then you just clamp it on there, either for storage or, if you're gonna put it on the floor for just a minute or two. So right here at the bottom, you have your little drip box. So you don't drip all over the floor, especially if you're doing, iron or chlorine. All right, so definitely really nice, setup, okay? All right, so on to the battery compartment here. It's got like a little magnet that kind of closes, it won't open. And you do have a little piece of metal here and the magnet at the bottom, or vice versa, I'm not sure which one is which. And you have your release button here. Put your battery in, and you do have to push kind of hard. All right, so it locks in nicely. And then to eject it, super easy, okay? You do have a rubber seal right here, not all the way around. They should have put it all the way around. They do have kind of like the slot for it, but it's just for the top. So I guess if any water or liquids come around this area, it gets routed to the sides. So pretty nifty, very nice cover. And you can see your battery indicator through the green lens, which is pretty sweet. You can see your battery indicator, okay? Very nice. All right, so let's go ahead and go over the wand and the trigger, the handle. This thing just feels absolutely awesome, okay? And your hose is 5 feet long, more or less up to about here or so. And you do have a little bit of, like I say, a little wiggle right here. So, it doesn't stiff your wrist up. You don't have to be constantly pushing. So you do have a little bit of wiggle play right there, which is good. It's not much, it's probably about a quarter turn or so. And you can see the hose itself is pretty thick. It doesn't look like you could actually remove it from the handle itself in case you gotta replace it. Maybe in later models they might do something about that. But definitely it is a little bit of a thick hose, so you have to kind of play around with it. Handle feels amazing. You do have a locking option, so you trigger, then you can lock it, okay? So you don't get tired. And it just feels phenomenal. So you do have your on off right here with, even though it says 1 through 5, you have about 36 different settings. So once you go to 1 and you can hear it. So you got about 36 of those, which is a lot of settings, all right? I'll go ahead and install the wand. I wish some of these wands would come with like a little key where since it has a little angle on the tip, sometimes when you tighten it, it kind of moves around, you see? It moves around. I wish I had like a little key where it just kind of falls in one place, either top or bottom, where you could flip it if you're gonna do like say, something high up, but so that way it doesn't spin around the whole time. And you always, kind of locks it in. So you're gonna have to hold it and then lock, the handle at the same time. Do it with both hands. And then, kind of twist it a little bit so you can kind of bring it back. Definitely these tips are just fantastic. You could tell they're just top quality, okay? Nice brass fitting, absolutely gorgeous, okay? So Remember, if you're going to be using chemicals, wear the proper clothing, eye protection, gloves, your mask, and definitely, pants and a long sleeve shirt usually helps out. So depending on the chemicals you're going to be using, definitely always keep that in mind. So we're going to go ahead and weigh it, see more or less what the actual tank weighs, empty with the battery. All right, so this is the bottom of the tank. One of the things that I've seen a couple of users have complained about this hose here, even though it has a rubber, like a little rubber grommet right there, to keep it kind of straight out, that it has broken. So be careful with this area right here. Maybe in the future they'll do like a quick disconnect or something like that, just to replace it easier instead of taking the whole thing apart. I would definitely add some little rubber feet, because right now they're plastic, and it could slide all over the place. But definitely like a nice rubber setup, these little 4 sections here, I think it will be a nice little addition for future models. But you could definitely buy something online and do it yourself. I like to have little rubber feet on things, because sometimes these things will collect dirt or anything like that, and then you put it on top of a table, whatever, it'll scratch it, and and then it'll slide all over the place. But definitely the nice little addition to do. I mean, it doesn't slide much, but just a little little miscellaneous detail. All right, let's see how much it weighs just by itself with the wand, no battery. See if I could somehow get it on top of this little tiny scale that I have. I got 16 pounds, 9 ounces, 16 pound, 9 ounces. All right, with the battery, a 2.5 amp battery, we get, I have 19 pounds and 8 ounces. 19 pounds and 8 ounces. All right, so let's go ahead and turn it on, see how it sounds. It's going to be a little louder. I'm in the garage, so definitely you do have a little bit of sound echo inside the garage. So once you click your trigger, you saw the battery indicator. Okay, so you do have some feedback on that. It's pretty cool. Like I mentioned, it has about 36 different settings, even though you only see 5 there. So once you turn it on 1, and that's full blast. And you can adjust it as you go. Pretty sweet. Turn it off, you're pretty much good to go. I did want to mention about the pressure in the tank. I think this is not a pressurized tank. I think the pressure is built between the actual pump and the actual trigger itself. So we'll test that out just to make sure. That's why I don't see a release valve on here. So that means that if you're halfway and you want to add chemicals or whatever, or add water, you can. You don't have to basically depressurize the tank, and then add your fluid. So that's actually a pretty cool thing. And that actually prolongs the life of the tank, prolongs the life of your O-rings and things like that. So since you don't have that pressure build up in the tank all the time. So really like that. We're gonna go ahead and test it out and see if that's actually the case or not. So all right, so let's go ahead and put it on, kind of like test fit it. I would recommend that before you actually fit it up with water. That way it's not so heavy. But depending on your height and how comfortable you want it, you have multiple different types of adjustments. Very, very easy. I think it's a lot easier to put it on some kind of little table, or if you're working out of your your work van or whatever the case may be, put it in the back. That way it's easier for you to adjust it. You clip your top depending on how tight you want it, and then you have your bottom clip right here. I like the little green ones so you can see how tight it is. So you got these 2 straps here, you got this one here, and then you have this one you could go up and down too. So you have multiple areas, and then once you have it ready to rock and roll, then you go ahead and try it out like this. Maybe put the battery in it, see how it feels, and you don't want it too back, you don't want to fall back, and then it's easier if you put it too low. It's a little harder. Let's say if you want to put it back on the table, take it off, and you're pretty much good to go. So just push it all the way back so that way it doesn't fall forward. But definitely pretty easy to adjust it. So we're gonna go ahead and fill it up with water, try it out, show you the streams with the nozzles, what are the options, see how far it goes, and then maybe we'll go ahead and do some chemical tests on here. All right, so let's put some water in it to see if you could actually see the water level. Right now it's right around here. Just to keep an eye on it, see if you can see it through the camera. It looks like you can see it. we're gonna go ahead and try out more or less this tip, and then we'll try out the other ones. It's on the off position, so you know, depending on which one you want. I gotta tell you, the trigger is extremely responsive. I really like that. So low, you get a nice little, you're gonna spray something very misty. That's like literally first step. Let's go on the third step. Let's go a little bit more. Let's go to like number 2. This thing is wild. Let's go to number 4. Crazy the amount of mist. Pointing away from the let's try number 5. Nuts. This sweet. All right, let's try the other tips. This is good for, you know, if you want to water the plants. We'll test it out. Just want to give it a quick little show here. Let's go back to like number 2. Beautiful. Like I mentioned, extremely responsive. This one's not adjustable. So this is the flat. You can feel this thing actually pushing back on the wand of the pressure. This is the adjustable flat. I wonder if they will make these things quick disconnect. That'll be kind of cool. Or a little small 1/4 inch quick disconnect. Be interesting. All right. On the 1 setting. What kind of adjustment do we get here? I don't really see much adjustment on this one. I think it's just the angle that you're getting, but it seems to be pretty much the same. Yeah, I think it's just pretty much changing the angle of which way you want to, you know, try it out. So let's go ahead and do it on the sidewalk. All right, so let's go ahead and test this nozzle out, see how it sprays on the ground. All right, so let's try this one out. So we could open up the fan as much as possible. So you can see a little circle. And if you want to stream, see how far this sucker goes. Literally right next to the camera. All right, so let's go ahead and test this on the floors, see more or less what kind of results we get. So medium. I kind of like this one. If you're gonna be spreading stuff, it doesn't splatter like the other ones. As you can see, it gets a perfect line. And when you turn off your trigger, it stops immediately. And there's no drip. This thing is extremely responsive. No drip. So it does work really good for the plants, but it also works pretty decent if you want to, you know, soap and water or anything like that, that you don't want a lot of the splashing into your grass. Fantastic option. I didn't even think about that. All right, so this is a flat spray nozzle. Doesn't have any adjustments whatsoever or any angles or anything like that. As you can see, there's a lot of overspray. Has a little bit of overspray, but this thing is just absolutely awesome. All right, so let's try this one here on this plant, see how it actually works. Right there is on almost, it's almost on 3, so let's say 3. If you want to go more, we're 5. Perfect. All right, so let's see more or less what we get as far as decibels. We're gonna go ahead and put it on max. Okay, there we go. All right, so we get 82.8 decibels, and this is on full blast. Okay, so not bad at all. I mean, that doesn't bother me because this is kind of like a low tone type, you know, bassy sound, so absolutely perfect. All right, so this is pretty much what it looks like. Handle is super comfortable. I got small hands. I feel you know, no areas that are being like rubbed on more than any other. Excellent job on the actual handle itself. The weight is just fine. You know, it feels a little bit heavy duty, obviously a lot, you know, a little bit heavier than some of the plastic ones that are very, very flimsy. This thing is pretty much solid. This thing is, you know, very, very thick. It's actually pretty heavy. And really like this. So this is more or less what it looks like. Obviously it's not a fashion statement, but very comfortable. Okay, so for me, I'm 5'7", so if I would have this bottom strap a little bit higher, maybe a couple inches, you know, right now I feel it kind of like where my belt area is, but other than that, the weight is well distributed throughout, so it's not like I feel more on the bottom than on the top. It's just, the only thing is that once it's full of fluids, if you're eating crap, it could knock you back. So make sure you have your good balance and you're not drinking while you're using this thing. So, but definitely, walking with it, you feel the water moving around, and if you take the wrong step, you can take a fall, because obviously 4 gallons of water, it does have a little bit of weight to it. But other than that, this thing is so comfortable. I want to water the whole yard, with this thing. So, and say you can lock it up, and obviously there was some overspray. If you put it on full blast, it's going to have more overspray. If you put it on low, you're going to have less overspray, so you're going to have a more direct, stream, whichever tip you use, whichever nozzle you use, you're going to have a more direct with less overspray. But fantastic. This thing is just an awesome tool to have in your landscaping or any other jobs that you do. All right, another thing I wanted to note, you can open your tank, you see, and it has a little bit of water in there. So it's not pressurized, which is pretty cool. Love it. Another thing that it has is this big opening, so you can pour your liquids or your solids, whatever. Still have a little room to mix if you want to mix. Perfect. All right, so final thoughts on the Eagle 4-gallon backpack sprayer. Absolutely fun to use, well built, 5-year warranty, up to 350 psi of pressure and up to 0.6 gallons per minute. You got that IPX4 construction, translucent tank. One of the things I would like to see is, the letters on here kind of like painted, so it's a little bit easier to see where the line is, especially since you have gallons on one side and liters on the other side. But overall, this thing is gorgeous, very, very comfortable. You got the large opening with the filter. I like that. You have the ability to put the wand, here on this little section, and on the little corner where the drip is, you can also put it there. Now, as far as the straps, extremely comfortable, and I was able to use it for a while and I didn't feel anything at all. I did forget to mention, in between the upper and lower strap, there are 2 more straps that you could tighten to make it even a tighter fit. So really comfortable, well built strap back here. As far as the brushless motor, very efficient. I had the 2.5 amp battery. I did all the video that you saw, plus stuff that you didn't even see, killing all the weeds, and it only spent 1 liter line. So super efficient. I've seen some run times between 25 minutes to 35 minutes, and even up to more than that, depending on the setting of the knob. So the handle is super comfortable, easy to use, and you could pretty much adjust the pressure on the fly. Really like that. Very quiet. And like I said, it does have that 5-year warranty if you have any issues. The hose is long enough, and the actual nozzles that it comes with are perfect for everyday use. So I really like it. comfortable, and easy to use. So if you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. Don't forget to like and follow, and do check out some of our links. They do help out the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.